It's late winter, and it's an absolutely and positively gorgeous day. The sun is shining, it's fairly warm out, and just all in all, it's nice out here. If I didn't have anything to do, I'd be going riding. Well, if you are looking for the end of winter and spring coming, you might have noticed trees in the distance, depending on where you live. There's definitely a reddish haze at the top of some of them, and you might be wondering, what in the world is that? You can't really see it that good where I am. You definitely have it on some of the trees here. And that is your red maples and possibly silver maples too, because they can put out red flowers as well. And when you think of flowers on trees, lots of times people think of the showy ones, things like your peaches, your apple, your pear, uh, magnolia, things like that put out really pretty flowers. All trees put out some type of flower. Some trees put out female flowers, some trees put out male flowers, some put out both. But they need the flowers in order to have their babies. Of course, some flowers are really kind of strange looking. Think of a pine cone. Well, maples are one of the first trees to put out flowers. I've been seeing the silver maples for a while now, and don't have any that are someplace where I can go up and just start doing stuff with them, because they're not on my property and I don't know the people that live there, and I don't think they'd appreciate me going in their yard to look at their trees. And I'm out at the farm now. And like I said, the red maple are flowering. And flowers can be red or even orange. I'm not going to go into the words and why-fors of that. Just know that if you see that red or the orange in the trees at this time of year, that is your maple trees. Sugar maple and Norway maple will put out more when it's more of a green. Now your red maple, they put out their flowers before they get the leaves. Sugar maple put the leaves in the trees leaves and the flowers out at the same time. This is what the flowers look like up close and personal. So that is one way that you can tell your maple trees. Another thing that you want to look at, if you look at the branches here, they are opposite from each other. And that is a characteristic of maple trees. There are very few trees that have this type of branching pattern. The ones that do are maple, ash, dogwood, horse chestnut, or mad horse. Catalpa can also have opposite branching, but it can also have other branching patterns. That's why it's not included in the list. Of course, some of your shrubs can have it too. I'm thinking off the top of my head things like elderberry and arrowwood. But for trees, it's basically those. And the way we remember that is mad horse. We had catalpa in there too. I guess it would be a mad cat horse or a mad horse cat, whatever. But that's one way to identify your maples, is by the flowers. Now, once you're starting to identify your maples, you're going to want to, if you're not sure that you're going to be able to remember where they are, you're going to want to mark them some way. Whether it's with your surveyor's tape, some kind of a painted mark on it, or what have you. The next thing you want to do is determine whether or not this tree is actually big enough to tap. I have read several things as to the size to tap. Some say 10 inches diameter of breast height, which is approximately 4.5 feet up from the ground. Others say 12. But then again, others point out that if you have a tree that's a slow grower, it could be 50 years old and only have a diameter of like 5 or 6 inches. I know the one that is in my yard is not overly big. I don't know that I'd want to try to tap it because of how small it is. I don't even know that it's 5 inches in diameter. But they say that you can tap a tree that size if it's an older tree. One tree that is in the maple family that people don't realize is in the maple family is box elder. And you can tap them no problem at 6 inches. So it's going to be your discretion. If you're not sure, I would go with the bigger size for the tap. And the ones that I have out here, they're definitely big enough to tap. These are all older trees. They're nice and big. Not sure how many there are out here. I haven't tapped them. In order to tap them, I got to come all the way across the field. That's up there. All the way is where my field is. And of course, if I were to be carrying stuff with me, then I'd have all kinds of horses wanting to say, "Oh, what do you have?" I might tap them next year. I'm not sure. But I've got a red maple here. I've got the red maple there. Let me see. There's a red maple there. There's a red maple there. So that's 4 right there, without even going farther and looking more. And this is one of the trees that has the flowers that look more orange rather than red. There it is. That's one way of identifying your maples. And I hope that you're learning something from this, and stay tuned for the next installment.